ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, entitled The Character of Maharaj Bharat, Text 16. Since we all can't recite it in a meter, so I'll just read the verse and then the translation. अपि बत सवै कृपण एन बालको भृत हरिण सुतोः ममानार नार्यस्य षठकीर्तन मतेर आकृत सुकृतस्य कृत विश्रम्भ आत्मप्रत्ययेन तद आविगणयन् सृजन् इवागमिष्यति. Please repeat. Api, indeed. Bata, alas. Saha, that calf. Vai, certainly. Kripanaha, aggrieved. Ena balakaha, the dear child. Mrita harini sutaha, the calf of the dead doe. Aho, oh, mama, of me. Anaryasya, the most ill-behaved. Shatha, of the cheater. Kirata, or of an uncivilized aborigine. Matehe, whose mind is that? Akrita sukritasya, who has no pious activities. Krita visrambha, putting all faith. Atma pratyayena, by assuming me to be like himself. Tat aviganyan, without thinking of all these things. Sujanah iva, like a perfect gentle person. Agamishyati, will he return again? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maharaj Bharat would think, alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets the misbehavior of a cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless, will this deer return and place its faith in me? Purport. Maharaj Bharat was very noble and exalted, and therefore, when the deer was absent from him, he thought himself unworthy to give it protection. Due to his attachment for the animal, he thought that the animal was as noble and exalted as he himself was. According to the logic of Atmavan Manyate Jagat, everyone thinks of others according to his own position. Therefore, Maharaj Bharat felt that the deer had left him due to his negligence, and due to the animal's noble heart, it would again return. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shriyuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. All of you can hear clearly? So we are discussing this very important pastime from the Bhagavatam Canto 5 about the pastime of Srila Bharat Maharaj. And if you go through the previous chapter and this chapter purports of Srila Prabhupada, he is again and again emphasizing on a principle that one has to be extremely careful while practicing the path of devotional service. A little carelessness can lead to a big disaster. As we have been hearing for the past couple of days, that although Bharat Maharaj, having renounced his kingdom, wife, children, wealth, it is said even the kings had animals whom he used to take care of. He had even renounced those animals. But now, just see, a small little child of a deer has become the source of fall down for Maharaj Bharat. But one thing very beautiful to notice in this series of purports, including today's purport, although such a great personality is falling down, and Srila Prabhupada is again and again talking about this in the purport also, But Srila Prabhupada is not condemning Bharat Maharaj, or he is not demeaning the exalted position of Bharat Maharaj. He is not looking down upon Bharat Maharaj just because his consciousness is falling down. This is a very beautiful and striking quality of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. He doesn't look at the person for a small defect that the person has, but he sees the overall personality. Just like Srila Prabhupada says, there may be black spots on the moon, but moon doesn't become dirty or blackish because of those black spots. The moon remains as beautiful. Rather, there are poets who appreciate that black spot to enhance the beauty of the moon. It's just a matter of vision. All throughout, not only this pastime of Bharat Maharaj, but throughout the scriptures, whenever any great personality like even Indra, was not like a pure devotee of Krishna, but still a very elevated soul. Whenever he does some not so good activities, Srila Prabhupada is very careful how to address that in his purports. He never makes us appear that, like here he could have said, Bharat, what? He has fallen down, he just got attracted to a little deer. What kind of bhakti is he doing? And putting in a very demeaning way. But all throughout the purport, Srila Prabhupada is extremely respectfully addressing Bharat Maharaj, to the extent in today's purport. Although if you see, yesterday's purport talked about how much Bharat Maharaj was falling in illusion because of his attachment to this little child of the deer. Deers themselves are very beautiful, but child of a deer is so sweet, innocent looking, beautiful eyes, and a source of attraction for anyone. But Bharat Maharaj, because of being materially attached to that dear child, he started becoming bewildered or illusioned. The previous verse says, if Bharat Maharaj sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. He would become like a miser who, having obtained some riches, had lost them and had then become very unhappy. When the deer was gone, he would be filled with anxiety and would lament due to separation. Thus, he would become illusioned and speak as follows. And what he spoke is today's verse, that alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter. It's like a little difficult to understand analogy, which Srila Prabhupada is a little bit explaining in his purport. What is Bharat Maharaj trying to say here? He's saying, I am very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets the misbehavior of a cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless, will this deer return and place its faith in me? That means Bharat Maharaj is thinking that if a friend has betrayed another friend, friend 1 has betrayed friend 2. Now if the friend 2 is a good person, although friend 1 has betrayed him, but given another opportunity, he would again trust the friend 1 because of the goodness of the friend 2. The friend 2 is so good that he so easily neglects, overrules, doesn't just really emphasize on that one distrustful act that friend 1 had done, but the friend 2, because of his goodness, again puts trust on that friend 1. That is the nature of the goodness of friend 2. Srila Prabhupada is catching this principle and saying that it's because of the goodness of Bharat Maharaj, Atmavan Manyate Jagat, Means as you are, you see others to be similar. So because Bharat Maharaj is so good, he's seeing that goodness in that deer, and he's feeling himself that I have not taken proper care of you, I have neglected you, because of which now you are nowhere to be seen. You are somewhere gone and taking shelter of someone else who must have given better shelter to you than me. Because of my neglect, today you had to leave me. But I am sure you are a good deer. You will again come back, and although I have acted in a faithless way, in a distrustful way, but I am sure you will come back and put your faith on me again. This kind of hope he is having based on his own goodness. So you see, although Bharat Maharaj is becoming materially attached to this deer, but the Vaishnava qualities that he has are still very much prominent in his personalities. He is still acting on his elevated consciousness of seeing goodness even in an animal, of the caliber of the goodness of a very great soul. That kind of goodness Bharat Maharaj is seeing, and Prabhupada is just talking about that in his purport. He could have talked about just see how Bharat Maharaj has got bewildered. The same home, family, animals that he had left, now he is getting attached to this little deer. Just see how Maya is powerful. Anytime anyone can be attracted. Srila Prabhupada does mention about this point in some of his purports. But the emphasis that Prabhupada is giving, somehow or the other he is using every translation to appreciate some aspect of Bharat Maharaj. This is a great soul. To see faults in others, anyone can see. It requires a great soul to see good in others, especially good in those people who are apparently bad in the eyes of general populace. It really requires a great soul to genuinely, just like Rupa Sanatana Goswami, when they met Lord Chaitanya, they said, we are more fallen than Jagai Madhai, because Jagai Madhai have never served mlechas, but we are so fallen. I mean, Jagai Madhai were famous to do all the criminal acts that one can ever think of. But what did Rupa Sanatana see in them? They saw some quality, some good quality in them, which they don't have. It's amazing quality of a Vaishnava. Very amazing. This is what makes Vaishnava a Vaishnava, so special, so extremely dear to the heart of the Lord, that he just cannot see faults in others, because his heart is so pure. Not seeing faults in others is a sign of a pure heart, because my heart is so pure, I just can't see faults in anyone. Therefore, an Uttam Adhikari generally doesn't preaches, because whom will he preach to? He feels that everyone except me is a pure devotee of Krishna. Everyone except me is absorbed in service to Krishna. But just see my fallen situation. I am not doing any service to Krishna. I am wasting my life, my time. And even hardcore materialistic people, an Uttam Adhikari sees they are so beautifully engaged in service to the Lord. That's his vision. And he actually feels like that. It's not just he speaks those words to impress others, how great a soul am I. He just cannot see faults. Not that he is seeing, but he just cannot see those faults. And unless one sees some mistakes in others, in the sense that they are lacking something, then only one will preach. So very difficult for such a personality to preach. So one can try to imagine Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Shri Krishna Balram, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Jalita Vishaka Devi ki Jai. Just imagine how Srila Prabhupada must have preached. A person of the caliber of an intense Uttam Adhikari has now, just because of the instructions he received from his spiritual master. Therefore, it requires intense compassion on the part of an Uttam Adhikari to come to the platform where he discriminates good from bad. discriminates right from wrong, discriminates envious from pious. Uttam Adhikari just cannot see this kind of discrimination, because everyone is a pure servant of Krishna. Some have forgotten it, some are remembering it. That's it. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, amongst all the things that he didn't like in the teachings of Shanda and Amarka, he prominently spoke about why are they talking about friends and enemies? Why are they discriminating between friends and enemies? What is this discrimination all about? He just couldn't relate to it. Why you're seeing somebody, this is my friend because he's doing something good to me, and he's my enemy because he's wishing bad for me? This is how Uttam Adhikari sees Atmavan Manyate Jagat, because he is so pure, he just can't see faults in others. Such an amazing consciousness. But it's more amazing for an Uttam Adhikari to come down to preach. Therefore, when Srila Prabhupada said, rascal, the scientists, although the words were what is required to be spoken at the external, but internally, he saw them as great souls, in the sense of that they are children of Krishna. Why are they not understanding this important teaching? He felt that pain in his heart for them not accepting the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And thus came out those apparently strong words. Therefore, the effect of the strong words was very positive, because it was coming out from a very intensely compassionate heart. Therefore, we can't really imitate such strong words of such great souls, because we can't imitate the heart of such people. Their hearts are filled with love for the very people whom they are chastising. In fact, it was the last few days of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes on the planet. He was telling his disciples and begging forgiveness for the criticism that he did of the Mayavadis, of the scientists. Although what he spoke was for their benefit, but still he felt that I spoke some strong words. They may have pinched their heart. I may have pinched the heart of someone by those strong words. And he just naturally felt like begging forgiveness. It's amazing. Consciousness of a pure devotee is so amazing. When I was going through this purport, I was seeing Prabhupada is just not seeing the fall down as a prominent thing of Bharat Maharaj. I mean, normal devotees, sometimes we happen to see some sannyasi leaving his ashram, or some saffron brahmachari changing to white. People are just go on and on speaking about, just see, what is this person? He couldn't even maintain his brahmacharya ashram, or he couldn't maintain his sannyas ashram. They speak all negative about that person, forgetting all the volumes of services that he has rendered for the Supreme Lord, for the movement, for Srila Prabhupada. And just pinpoint on that one little apparent defect in his personality. It's like condemning someone for having a disease. Why are you condemning the disease? It's a passing phase, it's a disease, it will go away. The person is good. There's no such thing as bad soul. Every soul is servant of Krishna, pure lover of Krishna. Somehow some forgetfulness has come upon the living entities. Those who are not able to serve Krishna genuinely from their heart. It's just a little disease. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says our temples are like hospitals. To cure such people of the disease is to help them cure, to give them a facility to get cured. Now it's up to them how much they accept the facility and actually become alright. Revive their lost love for the Lord. This is the beautiful consciousness of a pure soul. You just can't see defects. You just can't see faults in others. Recently, somebody sent me a message of a recent car accident that happened of Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Very recently it happened. And Maharaj was traveling with a few of his disciples. Very late at the night, after finishing a preaching program, he was traveling in a car going back to the temple where he was residing. And on the way, one of the tires of the car burst, and the car was rotating. It didn't tumble, but it rotated on the streets. And finally it ended up next to a big ditch where the rear tires were on the hanging in the air, and the front tires were still on the road. And that's how the car stopped rotating. It just didn't fall down. And when the car stopped, when the car was going on, Maharaj was having some meals. So as soon as the car stopped in that precarious situation, Maharaj said, "Can I have next piece of bread with some butter on it?" In that situation, when the car was about to fall after that whole rotation of 4-5 times, the disciples, they were so stunned, not at Maharaj's response only. First of all, they were stunned by this whole incident. And then on top of that, Maharaj is asking that, "Can you give me a piece of bread with some butter on it?" And eventually, soon Krishna arranged for some vehicles to come, or some cranes to come to pull out the car from that situation. Later, one of Maharaj's disciples, Mahavara Prabhu, he told Jayapataka Maharaj that, "Maharaj, actually, when we were coming in the car, we could feel that the tire was wobbly. And we were thinking that we hope the tire doesn't come out." We were thinking like that, and see, such a thing has happened. Maharaj said, "That's why it happened. Because you people were thinking negative. You could have also thought that, just see, the tire is wobbly. We hope Krishna allows us to reach to our destination. But because you thought maybe the tire will come out," he said, "Brahmana is careful in his speech. He never utters a word thoughtlessly. And see, because of your thoughtless speech, Krishna has arranged this to happen." So just see how careful, how beautiful a principle Maharaj brought out from this such a dangerous apparently appearing incident where one could have lost life. But he is seeing that it's because of the negative speech uttered by Brahmanical initiated devotees, the thoughtless speech that has led to such a thing. And it's true. Krishna fulfills the words of his devotees. So it's so important for all of us to be so careful in our speech, and our speech is dependent on our thoughts. If we are thinking negative of others, we are thinking faults of others, a time will come when we will speak it. You cannot just hold on to thinking those negatives and not speaking them. So here we see Srila Prabhupada in his purports is really strikingly beautiful. That although such a downfall is happening, such a great soul is falling down, is getting attached to somebody so insignificant, it can lead to some people losing faith on bhakti. That what kind of process is this? Somebody is, after having done bhakti for so many years, if he can fall down like this, what is my hope? Why am I wasting my time practicing bhakti? One can look at it in a totally negative way and feel discouraged and depressed and not want to practice this process only. Better let me be a karmi rather than wasting so much time becoming a so-called devotee where a passing wind can make me fall down. Nowhere Srila Prabhupada takes any such kind of approach. Rather, he is left, right and center appreciating. Of course, he is saying that this is material attachment, and material attachment is not good. It obstructs one's devotional service. Prabhupada is making a principle. He is not attacking Bharat Maharaj. From the story of Bharat Maharaj, he is taking a lesson, emphasizing on the lesson to be learnt. That how devotees have to be so extremely careful while walking the path of bhakti. Shurasya dara nishita duratthaya. It's like walking on a razor's edge. Any time a fall down can happen. A small little distraction can lead to a very major fall down. Like Ajamila, like any other day, he was walking, collecting the sticks from the forest, going to the ashram, taking back those sticks. But just see, one sight of a Shudra and Shudrani embracing disturbed his mind so much. So much so that he ended up marrying that prostitute and having 10 children through her. But that one little distraction, one wrong place the sight went, see what the consequences were. He was a very nice Brahmana. living a very pure Brahmanical life before that. But that one sight was enough for his downfall to such a degree. We can't imagine to what extent our past memories, negative acts that we may have done, the thoughts that we may have cultivated, we should not think that they are gone now. After I have done bhakti for so many years, I have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra for so long, I have taken Krishna Prasadam for so many years. Any given opportunity, the past memories can flare up like a forest fire and make us engage in such abominable sense gratification that even karmis or people who have never taken to bhakti may not do. Who would marry a prostitute and have 10 children through her? Not normally, even normal people would not do that. Normal materialistic people. But Ajamila, although such a pure Brahmana, he fell down to that extent. It's not a defect in bhakti. It's the nature of the path that we are walking. So it's very important for us to know what is the nature of the path that we are walking. It is a risky path. Prabhupada said risk is anywhere in the material world, everywhere. So it's not that if we don't take to bhakti, we are safe. There we are sure to be doomed. Here, at least if we are careful, we can reach our destination. Like Srila Prabhupada, one purport was saying that there are accidents even on a royal road. On a huge pathway also there can be accidents. Because in fact on pathways like we have this express highway from Vrindavan to Delhi, so many, when it started this express highway, the first few 2-3 weeks only there were more than 100 accidents that happened. And people were warning each other, don't go by that road. The problem is not with the road. Problem is with our uncontrolled senses. But when we see that open road, let me drive super fast. Similarly, sometime when we come to bhakti, the external problems of our life go away. So it seems this is very nice. And sometimes when we do little sense gratification, nothing major happens to our bhakti. When we commit little Vaishnava aparadh, we don't see an immediate effect. When we do some atyahar, eating more than necessary, we don't see an immediate effect in terms of our consciousness really falling down. These are tricks of Maya. And Maya doesn't make us fall down immediately. Fall down takes place first at the level of consciousness. And so subtly it works. The fall down increases so subtly that one cannot oneself notice it. Therefore, in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada said, had Bharat Maharaj had some association of another devotee staying in the same ashram, he could have warned Bharat Maharaj, see my dear Bharat, Prabhu, you are getting attached to this deer, this is not right. In his own little way, based on his relationship, he could have warned Bharat Maharaj, and Bharat Maharaj could have immediately recognized, oh, what am I doing? Because after all, he is a sincere, genuine, elevated soul. But because he had no association, because fall down is so subtle. When a gross fall down takes place, that's a manifestation of the fall down that began maybe many months or years ago. So as a sadhaka, it is very important for us to be very introspective, very conscious of one's consciousness. Where am I deviating at the level of consciousness? When enjoying mentality is becoming too strong, although you are not yet enjoyed, but the desire to enjoy is becoming very strong. You have to note those deviations and take more shelter of the process of sadhana bhakti that has been given by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has recommended for all of us to come together every morning, every evening to hear about Krishna. Every day to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Not that Prabhupada could have made once in a week, Saturday weekends you can go and hear Bhagavatam. And once in a month you can hear the Bhagavad Gita class. Or once in a while, whenever you get time, you can chant the holy names. Prabhupada made it a daily program. Because Srila Prabhupada knew the distractions that are available in this world, especially in this age of Kali. Things that attract us towards Krishna are few, but to distract us from Krishna are all around us. So imagine staying in a situation filled with distractions to remain focused in service to Krishna requires an intense practice. Tivrena bhakti yogena. If we are little slack, little negligence is enough for Maya to capture that. It's like in a boxing match, if one wants to defeat the opponent, one looks at the weakest point on the body of that opponent. One hits on different parts of the body of that boxer and watches the expression of that boxer. And at one place, when this person hits on the body of the boxer, he feels some pain. That means that's the weak spot, and he hits that place only again and again and again. And the boxer, although he may be very strong otherwise, but because his weak point was caught, he is defeated. Even by a person who may not be so strong. That's how Maya functions. We may become elevated overall in our bhakti, but we may have some weak spots. Some areas where we are very susceptible to that allurement, to that attraction. And that is the place where we have to be extra careful. Because Maya will right at that place keep attacking. Maya will give us more and more opportunities for getting allured from that one weakness that we have. So actually Maya is helping us to recognize our weaknesses. Therefore, that's how one devotee explained that Maya is actually is assisting Krishna in purifying us, in helping us recognize where are we weak. So if we see some attack coming in a particular place again and again and again, that means that's your weak spot. And of course, we don't have to depend on our own analysis of knowing our weak spot. We just have to have a good friend, a devotee friend who really loves us. And an expression of that love will be that he or she will not hesitate to tell that weak spot of ours. Others can see a weak spot very easily, but for us to see our own weak spot is very difficult. This is how Krishna has arranged for us to be dependent on others. The process of bhakti is such designed by the Lord that if somebody thinks I'll do my process of bhakti on myself, on my own I'll do it. However strict a devotee one may be in following all the principles very, very fanatically, strictly, rising every day early in the morning, attending the morning program, chanting good quality japa in his own way. However good a devotee one may be, if one thinks that I can manage by myself, that itself is a fall down. At the consciousness level, one has already fallen because pride has come into the heart. That I can do bhakti myself. Sometimes this thought comes that sometimes we get too distracted by devotees. They are talking, coming, not letting me do my chanting or my hearing or my sadhana or my services. If you let me do my bhakti on myself, let me just be in my own place and do my sadhana or my services. Devotees are more of distraction than help. This thought is a very dangerous thought. Extremely, Maya has already captured our consciousness. Just a matter of time when this will expand. This pride will increase and increase and increase. And we'll only notice our pride when we have fallen down grossly to some sense gratification, some breaking of the regulative principle. Unless we had a good friend who warned us right at the initial stages. The earlier we take precaution, the better it is. The quicker it is or the easier it is to reinstate ourselves from where we have fallen. Therefore, our acharyas stress a lot on being prepared to face the tests of Maya, and Maya can test any moment. I remember when we were in school, sometimes we used to go to school and suddenly the teacher used to say, today is a surprise test for you. And we said, teacher, we are not prepared. No, but this surprise test means what? You have to always be prepared. You cannot give any excuse. So that's how Maya functions. She gives surprise test any moment. Even right now while we are sitting in the class, some thought which you have not thought for a long time, some of my speech may trigger some thought and lead to some negative thought, and in our mind, in our consciousness, we may start falling down right now. Any moment it can happen. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Maya doesn't have to prepare us and then she makes us fall down. Any given opportunity is an opportunity either to fall down or to make progress in Krishna consciousness. So every time we have to be very alert. A devotee is always alert to his present scenario, to his present circumstance. Little carelessness can prove even fatal sometimes. So therefore a devotee has always to be prepared or to keep on preparing. Therefore it is said life of a devotee is a life of preparation for the final exam, death. But before the death exam, so many small tests come, and one test we fail, we have failed. So a devotee is constantly working on preparing himself. Therefore the sadhana program is so important. It prepares us like a fighter, a person in the army. He is not always fighting battles because not always battles are taking place. He is spending more time preparing for fights than actually fighting. Because any time a war may be raised by one country against another. So one has to be always prepared. The moment the attack takes place and we are informed to get on our dress and start the fight, we have to be ready for it. Any moment one has to be ready for it. So life of a devotee therefore is a very intense life. A life of constant moment to moment preparation mode. Preparing for any moment an attack of Maya to take place. The more we are in a mood to prepare, when the attack takes place, we can handle it better. Just like if you move out in the month of August and suddenly it starts raining, you become wet. You feel, oh, what is this? I have become wet. You feel very disgusted and frustrated. But if you already were prepared seeing the clouds that it may rain today. Oh, it may rain today also, we don't know. But if you are prepared, then you will always take an umbrella, and if it starts raining, you just press the button and the umbrella will come up and you will not be frustrated because you were prepared. So preparation, if done on a regular basis, daily basis, eventually as we evolve, moment to moment basis, then when the attack of Maya comes, we can sufficiently, properly handle the attack. We may survive through the attack. Otherwise, Maya's attack, and you see, Maya also attacks a person based on the level of the person. For Bharat Maharaj, she didn't send some plate of non-vegetarian diet or some an opportunity to gamble or some such gross allurement. Maya knows he will not get attracted to it. Even a beautiful woman would have come. Bharat Maharaj may not have got attracted to it. So Maya also knows exactly how to capture the heart of a devotee. And she knows devotee has a lot of Vaishnava qualities. Let me attack a devotee through his qualities only. Vaishnava compassion is such an exalted quality of a Vaishnava. Maya used that very compassion to be directed materially towards this baby deer. So Maya is very expert. She knows exactly whom, where to attack. So this is another principle that we learn from this overall pastime of Bharat Maharaj, is that a devotee should be very, very strong in one's preparation of consciousness, to be doing one's sadhana very, very diligently. One day missing the morning program, one day missing participating in any part of the morning program. Srila Prabhupada has very scientifically designed the whole morning program and also the evening program. If we are very strict as possible, as much as our health allows, in part